Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen. For the new members, kindly subscribe, and for the old members who have always been supporting me, keep commenting, keep bringing the feedback, and let's share. So, in today's gang series, we are going to look at the Sungusungu of Kisii County. The question is, who is Sungusungu? Is it a militia group? Is it a community policing group? Is it a criminal gang? How did they come about? And what are the impacts of Sungusungu group in Kisii County? So, straight to the point. When you talk about Kisii County and the existence of gangs in the region, three groups come into the limelight: Chingororo, Amachuma, and Sungusungu. And these are three groups that somebody needs to differentiate. Chingororo, we had a discussion in our first episode of in the second episode of gang series, and it's very different from Amachuma and also very different from Sungusungu. So when you look at Sungusungu, Sungusungu began as an open cause that was aimed towards community policing, like the local people partnering together with the administration to ensure that there is security within the region. So there was an aspect of community policing, and from this aspect of community policing, young men were selected by the administration, the county administration, like the chiefs, to help in maintaining law and order in the region, in as far as the control of criminality and ensuring that there's low cases of theft and so forth is concerned. But what started as an open cause could later change to be an issue, and the group could turn into a militia that is terrorizing even the residents. So from an open cause, these young men started having too much power. They started abusing the chance that had been given to them by the local administration in terms of community policing. So they even became available for hire to settle scores. So you realize that if you interact with the people from Bonchari and Suneka sub-county, they will tell you that when Sungusungu began, it was an open cause. It helped reduce criminality in the region. People could walk freely even in the evening. There was low cases of theft and so forth. But as time went by, these young men and women now started using their power too much. Their power in the sense that whenever they could get hold of somebody suspected to be a thief, suspected to be a witch, and so forth, they could pit them and they could even kill. Lynching became the order of the day. So the question that comes in is, with Sungusungu transiting from an open group that was supposed to help in community policing, is there a probability that also criminals who were not comfortable with the way this community policing group was operating could have joined the group disguised as people with the no purpose towards community policing? The answer is more of a yes than a no. Because when you look at the activities of Sungusungu, even the way they handle the suspects, the way they are even given money to settle scores. If you wrong somebody, instead of taking you to the police, they will go and report to Sungusungu. So you realize that so many people have been beaten or killed, including the administration itself, chiefs and so forth, in terms of because maybe somebody reported them that they are thieves, or they have been suspected to be witches, they have been suspected to do something that is not in line with the society, and so forth. So Sungusungu, as it right now, it is a banned group in Kenya, and it remains to be an illegal gang that nobody should be convinced that it is part of community policing. Yes, when it began, or when the group began, it began as a noble thing towards community policing. But in the middle, it was hijacked by people who wanted to use the opportunity to settle scores with others and use this as a business. Like, they are there for hire. You do something wrong, I take you there, I pay my little money, they come for you, they pick you, they take you to Kisii Stadium, and you are beaten there. It is a tradition that they have done for the longest time possible, until it raised the eyebrows of the police, of the counter administration, of the security sector, because they were not doing it in the right way. So basically, Sungusungu is not a community policing group. No. Sungusungu is a militia or a vigilante that is available for political, economic, and social hire. And it's used to settle scores with whoever wants to settle scores with their opponents or their enemies. It has been reported to be used even by wives to settle scores with the husbands when they feel like the husbands are abusive or the husbands are not responsive and so forth. So it has become a tool of leverage as opposed to something that was supposed to offer security to the community. So basically what you can see is, when you look at Sungusungu, it's just metamorphosed, as in it changed, it evolved. Instead of protecting the people who came up with the group, it ended up now terrorizing the same people. So it turned from just, I can say, a supportive group to more of a terrorist group or a gang or a vigilante that didn't care who is who, so long as they have been paid to do the job. When you look at the weapons that Sungusungu are using, many times they use knives, machetes, and there's this type of wooden kind of club. It is a wooden weapon that is as a lamp in front, and behind is a very big handle. They also use tires. I can say tires. For those who know the Pansin Pana, it's like mcheredi. Actually, ni mcheredi. So they use those ones to pit people or to pit their suspects. At extreme cases, they kill. Yes, they kill. And they can also set the house on fire. I remember sometimes back when I was working in Suneka, that was in 2009, I had just completed my Form 4 and I was working around Suneka region. And there's this young boy who was suspected to have taken part in murder of a certain villager. And that group of young men and women just came and they rounded up the young man who was suspected, and he was lynched. And I was like, I've never seen this one happen. And people from the local region could not talk about it. Like, people could go mum because they do not know that maybe the person next to you could report to Sungusungu, because when Sungusungu kill, they mean it. And people fear that if they raise their voices, they could come and attack them. I am very happy that at least the government came in, and between 2010, after the ban of that group up to now, its activities are not so much felt. But that does not mean that the group is not existing. If you go around Kisii town, you will not fail to hear about Sungusungu. Or if you met with somebody in Kisii County, you will not fail to hear somebody tell you, "Oh, should I take you to Sungusungu?" So it means that still the group is there, and their weapons are always readily available, and their mode of operation is so much outside that sometimes when they get their victims, they take them to the Kisii Stadium. I don't know whether right now the county administration has come up with a mechanism towards stopping the same. But sometimes back, they used to take people to Gusii Stadium and put people there. And the government raised its alarm, the people raised their alarm, because the way they were pretending to deal with criminal suspects in the society actually wasn't the right way. And then when you look at the impacts of Sungusungu in the region, you realize that actually Sungusungu has caused a lot of fear because people don't want to talk much about it. That's the first thing, because of how brutal they are. And secondly, people are not comfortable so much, especially when it comes to business. Because if I go you are my competitor, I may be fearing that if I mess up with you, you may take me to Sungusungu. So the fear in the city, when you look at the presence of a group like Sungusungu, it's not actually good for the community and the society at large. And we have seen men in the various TV channels coming out and confessing that they were part of Sungusungu and they have denounced the group, and they have made it clear that there's a section that when the group began, it began as a community policing, but later on things changed and so forth. So for anybody raising a question concerning the illegality of Sungusungu, the answer is very simple. Yes, the group started as a local community policing group, but in the middle it metamorphosized, it changed because of the greed for money, misuse of power that these young men had been given, and just being available to be used for political settlement, for political and economic cause settlement. Because by the end of the year, these young men and women who were in the group needed money. Like, money is the entire thing. Because if you are taken to Sungusungu, the person taking you to Sungusungu has to pay money for them to do the job. So Sungusungu is not a community policing group in Kisii County. For those who are confusing it, it's not a community policing group. The county administrators, I understand, and the security sector knows how to carry out it is community policing. And Sungusungu is among the groups that have been listed under the Prevention of Organized Crime Act 2010. And because of that, it is a banned group in the region, because it uses violence against people. It is not a legal entity at all. Its members are not certified or are not recognized by any government institution, and therefore there's no way Sungusungu can be a community policing group. And there's high chances that the current people consisting of Sungusungu were not actually there when it began. They are criminals who hijacked the group when it began and converted it to what they wanted. Basically, we can call Sungusungu, the current Sungusungu, as a reactionary group towards the group that was first constituted. And the current Sungusungu, its existence can be termed as being available to counter the activities of the community policing groups in the country or in the region. Because we have cases whereby the Sungusungu have been reported to have killed. There's a time an account administrator, a chief, was killed, and the sub chief, and the assistant chief. So if actually they are a community policing group, they could not be killing their bosses, like the people with whom they are supposed to work with. So it tells you that Sungusungu is a group that is there to react or to counter the activities of the government institution in terms of the provision of security. It's a group that is available for economic and political ire and to settle scores with opponents. it is a group consisting of young men and women who actually are out to make money. And therefore, whenever you talk about sungusungu, let's not confuse it with community policing. They are not the same. And the best thing that I could call out to the government is the existence of a group like Sungusungu in Kisii County. And there's another one called Amachuma that we will look at later in our discussions, is itself an insecurity. Like, it's a security issue in the region. Therefore, somebody saying that Sungusungu is bringing security is a liar, because the presence of Sungusungu in the region itself, it's insecurity. And therefore, it's a group that should be handled. It's a group that the government agencies and the security agencies should work and ensure that maybe it is completely eradicated, because the eradication of Sungusungu, I believe, could be more easier than the eradication of a group like Chingororo, which has stayed for a long time. Sungusungu just began the other day, and therefore there is a very big likelihood that if it is actually consistently worked on, with time, the members could give up, because we have members who are coming out to confess and who are confessing the activities in the group, and even ready to tell the young men and women not to enter the same group. So, of Sungusungu, that is what I have today. And somebody was asking me whether it is related to the Sungusungu in Tanzania. What I can say is the Sungusungu in Tanzania, the movement of Sungusungu, actually, like, the name was borrowed from the group in Tanzania, but how the group in Tanzania and the Kuria is working is not the same way the Sungusungu of Kisii County is working. Because the Sungusungu that is operating in Gusii region is actually a very violent group, and it's not protecting the society members. Instead, it is terrorizing them. So, otherwise, I'm gonna wish you a nice evening. Bring your comments, bring your kindly subscribe, bring your suggestions. In our next gang series, we are going to look at a group called Gaza. Gaza is majorly operating within the Nairobi environment. So we are going to look at Gaza, and we are going to see who is Gaza, how did it begin, and the weapons they use, and the localities where they exist in Nairobi. So thank you so much. Let's meet next time.